This channel is supported by Truefire.
Well, what is this all about then? It's the Truefire Summer Music Festival. What I'm going to tell you about, you can get 1 month of All Access for just $1. The All Access, you can dip in and out of every single course on Truefire, so that's a really great way to get some awesome courses down you. There are a lot of folks that are making videos that maybe might make you feel like you're not good enough at guitar and all of this sort of stuff. You might also be comparing yourself to other players. And today, this is like a video that's designed really for you, probably. And also for me, I definitely need to hear this from Nuno Bettencourt today.
Guitar players watching me on the stage, and you might think that this is success. It is not. The success is playing this guitar, period. If you're playing it in the garage, I don't give a fuck if you're playing it in your basement, online, greatest cover band in the world, it don't matter. The success is putting this thing on and the love, playing it for the love that you have for it. That's the success of doing this.
So the way that this came about, basically a video came up of my own playing from July the 12th, like 6 years ago or something like that. It was just a 27-second clip of me playing a Sir Classic T. And I watched that thing and I kind of, in the moment, I was like, I feel like that was maybe a better player than I am today. And got a little bit sort of down on that. You know, oftentimes, you know, you might compare yourself to like amazing players like Jack Gardner or whatever, but if you're comparing yourself to your own playing from a few years ago and you're thinking I'm nowhere near that good now, then that might be a bit of a worry. So that was kind of like the backdrop for this. And then this morning I kind of got up and plugged into this Supro Airwave thing, and I was like, let's just start playing something anyway, and just forget like whether it's like comparing to anything, and just try and play something and feel something and see what comes out of the guitar today when I'm playing it. And I think this is ultimately kind of, for me, what is kind of the point of some of this stuff. Like Paul from Mile House Studio sent me a comment from someone saying about like, what's the point in building a guitar for like this amount of money when you could buy one for £300 or whatever. And really the fact is that nothing really has all that much meaning when you really think about it too much, right? But this is kind of the point that for me, and hopefully for some of you guys as well, just sitting and playing guitar can be the most enjoyable thing that I do, full stop. You know, apart from playing with my daughter these days, you know, just guitar is like the thing. And life can get in the way of that sometimes. Sometimes you need to do something else other than that, right? Otherwise it's like a little bit of a bubble that you're living in. But just to remember, so the other thing that happened was, now I've just gone back to find that clip, and I noticed something. I cut that clip at 27 seconds because presumably what happened next was something that I didn't actually feel was very good. I can see that my timing is starting to slip on that line. And then I also went back and I found another clip of me playing that guitar. And actually, like, if you put it side by side with my playing sort of today, actually, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, that decline hasn't started to happen yet. And this is, I guess, what maybe happens with guitarists, because you think about like Paul Gilbert, who kind of changed his playing style, and maybe like if you've been into this kind of shred stuff, or maybe if you never got into it either, you kind of had this sort of like sport element to this stuff, where it's like, I really want to be playing faster, and I look like an old video of me playing some fast stuff, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that was cleaner than I could play it today, and all of this sort of stuff, and making comparisons. But actually, I don't think, I've not, by the look of just comparing the two things, I do actually think, well, maybe today what I'm doing is sounds a little bit more intentional, and, you know, it's a longer playing clip. You know, I think this was a third take, so I got 2 other takes, one which was just with the amp, and then I did just like, because I was just enjoying just playing guitar, I did 2 other takes. I think actually it's probably a more honest representation of what my playing is like than that other one, which was like a 27 clip from that back then. And this other longer clip of my playing from back then, actually, if I look at it and listen to it reasonably, I do think I'm a better player today than then, for, you know, various reasons and stuff like that. So it's just like a little bit of a reminder for me that I 100% needed to hear from Nuno, who I think again is a player who's gone through and continued to evolve, you know, like with that Rise solo and stuff like that. It's like a player that was already at the forefront of great guitar playing. Anyway, he's continued to just stay interested in guitar and continue to push through, and I guess probably also has some of these feelings that I think are pretty human, where we compare ourselves to others. You even compare yourself to yourself on the journey, right? But I think that is, the comparison is the thief of joy part. Just try and pick up a guitar today and just try something a little bit new, and try something that's like, okay, that's fresh. So Tom, I've already done this video, but sent me like a video about Julian Lage. There was an acoustic video adding dimension to your playing, and that instantly inspired me to just pick up an instrument and go, okay, well, can I do some of this? Like, where would this take me? And just that is the journey of guitar. If you can pick it up each day, try and find something that inspires you. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't even have to be that every day you're learning something. It's kind of like this accumulative thing, especially as life, you know, now I'm 36 or whatever, and I've got a 2.5-year-old daughter. like the days of me practicing 6-7 hours a day, they're gone. I think that was about roughly what I might have been doing back then, though, when I was playing. So I think I can still see that there's sort of growth still. I definitely know more about other bits and pieces than I knew back then. I think my playing sounds a little bit more intentional, a bit more confident in a lot of ways, and so I feel a bit more positive having looked back at that, having listened to Nuno saying, you know, picking up the guitar is the thing. It doesn't matter where you're doing it. We can't all play on a stage. Some of us will never get there, but playing in your bedroom and playing in a garage, playing with some friends, being in a cover band, all of these things are worthwhile because it's really just about passing the time whilst we're around. This is a t-shirt that I bought for my wife after giving birth. It's quite a cool one, but it is actually more of a dress than anything else. But I thought I'd put it on because of that optimism thing. But yeah, just at the moment as well, Truefire with their All Access are running like you could do a month for $1. There are a few bits and pieces on there that I think could spark some of these little bits of imagination for you. So like Tim Miller with the creative arpeggio design, Tim Lurch with his jazz stuff on there, Ariel Posen's on there, Robin Ford's on there, Andy Timmons is on there. Like all of these players that I think can trigger inspiration for us and like bits of wisdom that I think can help us wherever we're at on our guitar journey. And that's the important thing, that it is your guitar journey. And maybe sometimes it can be good to go back and see, like, am I better than I was today? Am I worse? At some point for me, I'm imagining that there might be like muscular decline and speed starts to go away, some of those things. But, you know, even so, it doesn't necessarily mean it's just like a different part of your journey. Like maybe then you start to get into more atmospheric playing, starting to play more with feel and all of these things, which I think I'm playing with more feel than I was back in those clips. So it doesn't, even as decline starts, it doesn't have to mean that you don't enjoy playing the guitar anymore, right? Anyway, so I needed to hear that. Hopefully some of you guys might get something out of that. I hear from some of you guys sometimes that are getting, you know, inspired to pick up your guitar by the nonsense that I ramble in my room, and that's kind of very nice to hear from you guys because, you know, it's quite a one-way sort of conversation, but hopefully it's a conversation that at least gets you having a conversation with your guitar a bit. Just pick one up and play it. It's a good thing. I really like it. It does help to relax me from other stuff which is not that relaxing sometimes.